con artists. I'm Scott.
I'm Dan.
I'm Sushma. And Brendan's sitting over there.
Hello. You'll be joining us shortly.
It's gonna be awesome.
Alright, so we're gonna kick things right off with Rio Rainbow Gate. Who here has heard of Rio Rainbow Gate? Anybody? Oh good, not enough people. This is gonna be awesome. Alright, so what is this show about? Well, casino gambling. Alright, that seems like you could make a pretty cool show out of it, right? So how did something like this go so horribly wrong?
Las Vegas.
How did things like this happen? We're just not even sure, but don't worry. I'm gonna take you on the journey, which all starts with this dapper gentleman. So he rolls up to his casino and he's like, alright, look, somebody needs to watch my granddaughter while I gamble. The other guy's like, sure, I'll give you this bucket of fan service I happen to employ. So bam, there she is. She's like, I'll be taking care of you for the rest of the show, and I hate your bear, which is ugly. So they start becoming, best friends immediately, and then the dumb begins. This guy wants to steal the stuffed animal for some reason. It just shows up out of nowhere. So the first question here is really, you want to steal that? Like, it's hideous. And you want to steal it from her? She's evil. Just look at her eyes. Alright. Fortunately, Rio knows martial arts or something, so she kicks those guys up. So force is not going to work. What are we going to do? He's going to challenge her to a card game, because this is a gambling show. Awesome. So, the bet, if we win, you're going to leave this island. He's like, well, fine, what are you betting? And then off from left stage comes, you're going to take all your clothes off. Wait, who said that? Who would say such a thing? Wait a minute, you are the devil. Also, your bear is still ugly. Fortunately, Howard, the guy we saw before with the giant smile, is having none of this. He's a really professional boss that would never, wait a minute. Call film crew. Okay. So she dresses up as a bride, because why not? And we sit down for an intense game of cards. Like, okay, we're obviously just going to have some James Bond 007 style poker stuff. No, we're not. We're going to have CG nonsense flying out of everywhere. Like, cards are just going to fall out of the sky. Where is this picture? Hey, presentation. Okay, Windows. Well, believe me, there's a lot of CG. Too much, obviously, for my computer to handle. So cards just fall out of the sky, and things happen. This guy's wandering around in a maze made of cards, and it just goes on for like 2 or 3 minutes, like with the CG stuff. But finally, he loses, of course. And then we get his tragic backstory. He collects animals because he lost his wife once. But it turns out the bear he thought was a Belgian collector's item was really made in China. So he has no taste either, and that was our moral. This sets the stage for the entire show, which is made of only 3 elements: fan service, wacky hijinks, and CG nonsense, which will reward us at every turn. Alright, so let's introduce our characters. We've got Rio, who has some kind of weird gambling power and is our bucket of fan service. We've got Mint and her hideously ugly bear. We've got Howard, who's probably the best character, really, because look at that smile. And we have a whole panoply of annoying side characters that no one really cares about, especially the Russian klutzy trainee. We'll come back to her. So, just when I thought the show was going to have no plot at all, Elvis shows up. Now, Elvis, he loves him some numbers. All he ever does is just talk and talk and talk about numbers over and over again. He's here for a card battle, which will be the plot of our show from now on. And what is a card battle, you might ask? Well, there's 13 cards. If you get them all, something happens. So that's it. That's the plot. Alright, the boss is somehow ready for a card battle with this ridiculous-looking, enormous roulette wheel. Look at the people on the right. Those are people over there. So he somehow had this thing ready in case this happened. You gotta use bowling balls for this thing. However, if that wasn't dumb enough, we have more CG stuff, and he starts turning people into numbers and just filling the screen with junk. And as if that wasn't enough, we then abstract our number battle into some kind of beach volleyball thing going on in their minds. Fortunately, gambling powers save the day with a giant number 1 that pops out of nowhere. And that's the end of the episode. Well, almost the end. Let's go check in on our klutzy Russian trainee. How did she do today? Oh, well, she got caught on a wheel and almost destroyed the casino. Okay, great. Now, you were probably thinking that seemed pretty dumb for like an episode. But don't worry, it's so much dumber. Alright, you've got this castle, and there's a ghost a long time ago named Misery. Now she's back, and she likes to eat chicken wings. Which, I mean, this is a plot point they go over for like 5 or 6 minutes. Like, this is a serious detective investigation about the chicken wings. But finally, she captures the president, like, gets all the bunny girls to follow what she says. Rio dresses up in some kind of dumb outfit, and we bet the entire casino on one roll of dice. However, obviously Rio has gambling power, so how do you stop her? Here it comes. Spectral chicken wings with bat wings on them. What? So she summons, like, illusionary chicken wings to attack Rio in the middle of her dice throw. That's a real thing. Fortunately, Rio's totally not a traitor's sister shows up and saves the day. She will not be a problem later, I promise. After this happens for a whole episode, which I'm not even going to describe. The American shows up, and that's him. I'm not even going to talk about it, it was so dumb. So let's check in the Russian trainee. How's she doing? Somebody gave her a gun. Oh God. Why would you give her a gun? So, alright, what are we doing here? It's another contest where this time if you miss the clay pigeon, your clothes explode for some reason. I don't know why, but that's the premise. So, Rio and her newfound not a traitor sister decide to battle it out in front of all these guys who obviously want to see them lose. So their desire to see them lose is so hard, it calls up this pink wind which tries to blow the clay pigeons off target. I am not making this up. Unbelievable. But finally, in the end, everything sort of works out, and no one's clothes explodes too much, I guess. And everyone's okay with that, which seems realistic, I guess. Whatever. How's the Russian trainee doing? What? How did you trade into that? Forget it. Alright. Let's take this gun to the moon. It's time for a shrimp outfit for no reason. And we need a new character, the robot girl, who has tan lines, of course. Not really sure why. And this guy shows up. We're plagued this show with food-based puns for its entire duration. Oh, he's awful. Alright, and her sister, who's not a traitor, is continuing to be totally supportive and not creepy at all. Yeah. So alright, we're gonna blast off our casino into the space or something because we can do that, and it floats by magic, I guess. At the same time, the main villain shows up, Carta Goldschmidt. Just look at all the evil. Apparently she's here for more gate battles to try to get him to bet the entire casino on one roll of the dice over and over and over again for no return. Great. Meanwhile, we have a hologram deck and the ridiculous space samurai guy got caught in it. Also, that bear, still terrifying. Then confusion strikes and the bear is about to peep up from behind her shoulder. But forget the bear for a second. It's this kid's fault why I'm confused. He starts explaining his backstory. He's this guy, Jack Laney, he disarms bombs, but wait a minute. Right in the middle of this, I heard some music that I thought was really familiar. It was so old. I knew I'd seen it somewhere. Wait a minute. I know that symbol. It's Mighty Bomb Jack? Alright, now I'm going to give a brief aside here. Mighty Bomb Jack is a really, really terrible game from the NES era, like 1985. I'll be talking about it this Sunday because it's so bad of a game in my Bad Games panel. But trust me, for now, it's terrible. So I got baffled here. Here are the people that are old enough to remember this game. Here's anyone that would actually go look for Rio Rainbow Gate for entertainment value. Like, there's no overlap. I, of course, am caught right in the middle of these two. But, like, I can't figure out who they put this guy on the show for. It's just, why would you do that? And later on, of course, my suspicions are confirmed absolutely beyond a doubt that he is Mighty Bomb Jack. So no idea what's going on there. But in the meantime, we've got a hologram room, so where's the time for some space sharks? Space sharks summoned by her, because she's evil, I guess. So, in an entirely CG sequence involving a CG thong, we jump around in outer space and ride on sharks, and I don't even know what's happening anymore. Oh my god. So, skipping that, what's this guy doing with his time? Yeah. Don't worry though, the bear is still staring at you. Then this happens for a whole episode. There's an entire episode where this is the whole plot. Still Cartier's evil plan, no idea what's going on. Then, this happens for a whole episode. And moron guy shows up to be a moron. No idea. But finally, oh no, our not a traitor sister got captured somehow as part of their evil plot, and we have to bet this casino again. Now, this may be important, but what I think is more important is what's that samurai guy doing? Yeah. He literally shows up just to say this line. Meanwhile, their allies are going to try to stop this by hacking. How do we hack? We hack with old NES games. I'm starting to see like what are we even doing here? They got old licenses they don't know what to do with? I guess. But whatever. She finally reveals herself as a traitor. She's been a traitor all along. I'm sorry, I lied to you. And Rio didn't see it coming. So boom, they lose the whole casino on some kind of dumb bet. And everyone's sad. Rio, meanwhile, goes crazy and starts talking to floating money that only she can see. So we gotta get her out of this. We gotta get her to snap out of it. Alright, how do we get her to snap out of it? More CG nonsense, like gambling scenes, where we're shooting at cards or playing baseball with a roulette wheel in space. I don't even know anymore. But that's all it takes to heal psychological damage, so keep it in mind. And everyone's happy, even those two. And finally, Misery comes back to make up a new term for us. Roll ruler, in English, every single time. For a whole episode, it's pretty much the only word anyone says. And then suddenly, they don't say it anymore. So we pretty much waste a whole episode on that. Now, this also seems important. What's the samurai up to? Once again, he literally shows up to deliver this one line and then leaves. Rio, meanwhile, learns the meaning of life. Digital sharks are evil. And finally, gets the group together for a last assault on the casino using their amazing powers. Also the bear. Still there. But whatever, she convinces them to dress up as not retards this time. And they go in and have an awesome sequence and win lots of money. Now, this doesn't matter at all for the plot. Winning the money does not get them back to the casino. They don't get anything out of it. Instead, Karate just laughs at them. So we waste like 5 or 6 minutes of the episode doing nothing, basically. Money's good. And then this happens for another whole episode. Everyone dresses up in skimpy battle armor and fights dinosaurs? In fact, dinosaurs are a part of the equation. All of this happens too! I have no idea what's going on. And then we have like a bathhouse episode and Misery comes back again, and we're going to pin this up as preparing for the final battle. Yeah, that's it. So the show is pretty awful, but one guy has always kept it good for me. This guy. We can always count on him to be pretty awesome, alright? Look at that smile. And no matter what he's doing, he's never not ridiculous and over the top, which I can sort of get behind. But even he can't stop what's going to happen next. Because the final battle is upon us. Rio is ready, and Rina is ready too. What's going to happen? Suddenly, out of nowhere, we start throwing absolutely retarded plot at you. Oh no, those gate cards are lost technology. They're double O parts and predecessors and rainbows and wishes and like just things come out of nowhere. And then the military shows up and I don't even care anymore. What is going on? So just as I think it's going to be awesome, everyone I hate is going to get shot by these faceless goons, this guy pulls out a sword and uses flowers to cut them all, I guess? And Rio manages to make a wish. Now what does she wish for? She wishes for big stuff, like an end to war in the Middle East, and for fires to go out because rain appears, and people find 2 yolks in their egg, and cats find their owners, and the guy grows some hair, and... Is there a moral to this? Like, whatever. Alright. Could this get any dumber? Everyone's happy. Rita turns out to sort of not be a traitor again. I kind of didn't lie to you. The bear is still terrifying. He's staring at you there. And, everything's awful. But wait, it could get dumber. That guy's a cop. Like a real sort of cop from the Casino Dealers Guild or something. No, it doesn't. But then, the saddest moment ever, these two show up in the last 5 minutes. They're like, hey, we're here, we're on screen, there'll probably be a second season. And I was like, no. But all you really need to know about the show, besides the absolutely ridiculous levels of fan service that permeate every moment of it, is this. This is all you really need to know.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty hard to top.
So,
how many of you have heard of this?
Never heard of it.
And I know you up there, you actually own what this is based on. Easily the most terrible show I have seen in recent memory. Demonbane brings a lot to the table in terms of awful anime series, but let's take a step back for a moment, shall we? This here was the first thing that I ever saw related to Demonbane. Now, if you can't tell what's wrong with this picture, please leave now. There's something about a dude with arcane guns, an underage girl, and a doofy robot. The least bad thing that could happen is that I'll hate this show. The worst thing that can happen is that I'll get arrested for watching it. But lest you think this is just a single bad one-off thing, let me tell you that this intellectual property is vast. I mean, it includes the original game that it was based on, a PlayStation 2 re-release, a sequel to that game, the anime series, an anime OVA, a visual novel, a prequel novel, a manga, and a racing game, I kid you not. There's a lot to go around. So, our show opens in the lovely gray hulk of Arkham City, a primary location in Lovecraft stories. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is based on the Cthulhian mythos by H.P. Lovecraft. I can only stress how tenuous that relationship is. We're finally introduced to this guy, Daijiji Kuro, amateur magician, second-rate detective, and an all-around loser. Looks like protagonist material to me. He's hired by this girl, who for some reason rules the city to find a magical book, or grimoire, if you will.
That makes perfect sense.
But as I said, this seems kind of stupid right off the bat, because the guy managed to drop out of a school that specializes in these kinds of things. I guess you can't be picky about detectives in your crazy steampunk, sci-fi, Cthulhian world. But he goes around looking for this book in magic shops and bookstores, only to find this lady. She doesn't reveal her name, so she's either plot-tastic, a future villain, or, well, probably both. Also, her chest is roughly twice the size of her head, so we can tell what kind of a game this was to begin with. So by the end of the first day, he's pretty much given up on this whole book thing and is enjoying a sandwich using his dementally animated hand over there, when suddenly, a plot hook arrives, specifically, this plot hook.
Please tell me that's not a Lovecraftian god.
Oh, just wait. Yep, based on a dating sim, we know. So moments later, these jokers show up chasing that girl, led by this guy. Dr. West, a figure featured in Lovecraft's novels that has been mercilessly butchered in order to get him into this show. As you can see, there are a few discrepancies. So in order to defeat the crazy man and his army of Tommy gun-wielding henchmen, this girl decides to make a pact with Kuro. She reveals that her name is Al-Azif. Wait a minute, I know that name. Something's not right here. Why does that sound familiar? Oh, she is the Necronomicon. She is the book he's been looking for this whole time. Yeah, somehow I think they took a few more liberties than are necessary here. So, they use this newfound power to grab Dr. West's guitar-launched missile out of the air and blow him away with it. So we're done, right? The stupid is over, right? No, Dr. West isn't done yet. Now, if I were to tell you that I had a giant crab-shaped mech that fired drill missiles and was powered by rock and roll, what would you say? Pretty awesome, right? Not really. Not when it's controlled by this guy. So, of course, Al and Kuro need to summon their own robot, a mighty, doofy-looking robot called Demonbane. I mean, look at this thing. I mean, it's got the massively impractical shoulders, you know, you can't see them, but there are useless head guns in there, like every giant robot has to have. The whole thing is a terrible CG monstrosity, and of all the things that you could possibly accentuate on a giant robot, the ankle guards? Really?
They don't double the skis?
No, sadly no. So as expected, Demonbane just wrecks that stupid crab robot, but moments later, like this guy shows up, Master Therian, the show's main villain and general creepfest. And in a move I'm surprisingly okay with, Kuro just tries to punch him with his giant robot. But he's stopped by another grimoire turned lolly, the Narcotic Manuscripts. They retreat to fight another day, leaving us with several episodes of standard giant robot fighting fare. So, we've got things like this, as follows. Random monsters that drop new attacks, super moves that qualify as weapons of mass destruction, poorly, stupidly characterized lackeys. I mean, look at that Naruto-looking creep in the middle. What is he even doing in this show? Where did the Cthulhian stuff go? There's a duplicate battle that happens in, like, episode 2? Oh, that's where the Cthulhian stuff went. Yeah, creepy, but for a totally unrelated reason. And a beach episode. Are you serious? That doubles as the hot springs episode? In Innsmouth, the place where fishmen worship Dagon? Also there's even this. They fight Dr. West's pantsless, gun-tonfa-wielding, elf-eared robot chick. Who, of course, falls in love with the main character. And learns some odd legal terminology along the way. Dr. West, of course, is having none of this. And what may be the best shot of the entire show, decides he's going to kill both of them before any of this can get out of hand. I find myself agreeing with Dr. West a lot more than I'd like. But later on, we're given a fight scene between two completely token side characters that have been given no characterization up until this point. This guy wants to fight the guy with the sword using nothing but boxing, a noble art created by humanity over the ages. Guy with sword is understandably incredulous, but remember, in this show, punches solve everything. Well, let's return for a minute to that beach episode I mentioned, because I feel it deserves a very special aside. Our heroes find themselves in a creepy underground dungeon for poorly explained reasons, and they activate some kind of gas trap, but seem pretty unfazed at first, up until this happens. That was some kind of aphrodisiac love gas, and causes our hero to molest a teenage girl.
Oh, that's bad.
That's the proper reaction, thank you. Damn it, show. Most shows like this just make me feel dumb. Now I feel soiled as well. Let's move on, come on. Borderline pedophilia and bad stories are, you know, we can move on past that. How's the second half of the show look? Oh, I thought we just got away from the jailbait angle. Gosh darn it. Okay, whatever, who is this girl? She's some kind of cat girl. She's an amnesiac. Her name's Enya. Oh, wonderful. So Kuro, of course, takes her out in and tries to, you know, help her. I don't know what he feels like he's going to do, but where did you even find those clothes? Look at everything else on that thing. Just one color symbol. Why did you have to pick that? She's also way too into our main character and genuinely obnoxious. And this just keeps going. Yes, she's scuba diving in his tub. Al, of course, is insanely jealous at all of this and takes every opportunity to abuse Kuro because of it, which I'm actually alright with. I think he deserves it. But even Dr. West finds this really creepy, and I cannot help but agree with him again. As mind-rackingly stupid and annoying as Dr. West is, he's starting to grow on me, and this honestly says a lot less about Dr. West and a lot more about the quality of the rest of our cast in general. Of course, this is supposed to be advancing the plot, right? And what would the plot be without more giant robot battles? The obvious happens. She gets caught in the fight, and yes, she gets crushed by a boulder in the same episode she's introduced. Fabulous, we dodged a bullet on that one. Of course, you know, at this point, we're 7 episodes in a 13-episode show. We really gotta get this moving. Master Therian, who's been absent for the first half of the show, decides to kick off his evil master plan and summon Cthulhu to power his giant super fortress.
Because now that's a fucking great idea!
You know, I'm getting to think this is a less than dignified role for the Herald of the Elder Gods. Of course, in a twist that is more stupid than it is surprising, his allies turn on him, killing him with contemptible ease. Instantly. And they turn their attention to Demonbane, giving Al just enough time to declare her feelings for him before blasting her back into her book form.
Oh no.
Oh no. How sad. Kuro takes this in stride, swearing vengeance and shifting the tone from lighthearted occult robot fisticuffs to unwholesome revenge fantasy in the span of 5 minutes. But since Demonbane is busted and now can't power it, all hope is lost, right? Wrong, because Dr. West is here to save the day. He's turned on his once allies and is now, yes, he is actually giving the crossed forearms bro fist, and somewhere along the lines underneath that lab coat, he was hiding a 6-pack. He even takes out that stupid Naruto guy with his rocket launcher. Damn it, Joe, stop making me like this guy. But sadly, Kuro is still supposed to be the hero here. And he's got to face this tentacled frog-faced dude that you saw for a brief period before. The fight doesn't seem to be going too well, especially when the tentacle guy busts out his stupid CG super attack. But wait, all of a sudden, Al returns thanks to the power of love or something, can't stress the oh something enough, and returns to power Demonbane.
Oh yeah.
We also swap out Kuro's already stupid outfit for an even more terrible one. Charge up the super move, and beat up the enemy with an all-new super attack we got for no clear reason. Giant robot in my Cthulhian mythos. Suddenly we're on a boat. Apparently the Cthulhu fortress somehow teleported into the ocean. And it is defended by Dagon, who is defeated by Dr. West and the power of his magic ukulele. Also he has a giant robot. But they have to now fight this guy in that fortress, one of Therian's former minions. He's gained control over the fortress by murdering the last few members of his team, and is ready to use all of his power to take out Demonbane once and for all. Big fight brewing. But he is almost immediately killed by... Oh, wait. Didn't you get crushed by a boulder? Don't take this away from me, show. Apparently this girl's real name is Nero. She's evil and she wants Kuro to fight her.
That explains everything.
Of course he does. But he's not really going to do it. Despite her being creepy, annoying, and also genuinely evil, he wants to save her. Aw. Well, too bad. Sucks to be him, because she suddenly explodes in a fountain of blood. A hand comes out to her, of her belonging to the original villain, Master Therian. What? This can't possibly get any more stupid. Oh, yes it can. The implications of this are that this, the gate between all space and time, has impregnated a little cat girl with a fully grown man. Let that stew for a minute. But now it's time for our final battle, so we've got to go into space, like any good giant robot show, right? Our heroes confess their mutual love, girding them in more plot armor than could outfit a Roman legion, and it's time for our epic robot fight in space. Also in the past for some reason. What? Against Master Therian and his own doofy robot. Everyone's shouting each other's names like it's Gundam or something. And the fight goes on for a while with no clear winner. This is all crammed into the last episode. Suddenly it's revealed that this lady was behind it all. Remember her?
No.
She's the bookstore lady, and she's trying to get Master Therian and Demonbane to fight each other so they can go with some weird cycle of conflict that hasn't been hinted at up until now. Wait a minute. Are you serious? You're Nerothotep?
That's the one thing that makes the most sense of this show.
Yeah. I know that some of you might like to point out that Nerothotep can turn into a human form, but I'm pretty sure that a big-boobed bookstore lady was not one of his favorite forms. So our heroes prepare to use their finishing move, the Shining Trapezohedron. They've been saying it almost non-stop for the last 3 episodes. Yeah, over and over again.
Shining Trapezohedron.
They're just about to wipe out the enemy and reset time or whatever when they realize, you know what, we should probably stop that horrible elder god. And they decide to fight it with, oh no, they couldn't be. I recognize that pose. Yes, it is. It is a love-love combination attack in the style of G Gundam. They use the super move to destroy the villain, send these two hurtling through space, which is apparently a happy ending for them, and drift through eternity. But, wait, there's more. Al decides that she can send him back. She can send the hero back because, you know, after all of this fighting, he deserves his happiness, doesn't he? You know, separated from the girl book thing he's somehow come to love. Ugh. And so she sends him back, but also retcons him out of everyone's memories. Nobody knows who he is. He's just kind of wandering around. Even Dr. West and his creepy robot chick don't know who he is. But because H.P. Lovecraft is all about the happy endings, they are reunited by their alternate selves from one of the game's alternate endings. Are you joking? Fine, whatever, you two. Ride off into the sunset. I hope you're still conscious when you pass through the atmosphere and your lungs explosively decompress. After all of this, I can only come to one conclusion. That was just terrible.
Nicely done. All right, so we got next. We have Gunparade March. Who here has seen Gunparade March? Only one person has heard of it. This is going to be an adventure. Alright, so what is Gunparade March about? It's a giant robot show, right? Here's what I was promised. Awesome robot fighting action. Instead, I got just garbage. I'll get to why. So how does this show start exactly? It's World War II, 1945, and these crazy evil organism things start showing up and killing everybody. No one can stop them. Our weapons are hopeless. Using them only smears our motherlands with dust and fog. I mean, it's pretty well told at this point. I was at least somewhat interested. Alright, 50 years later, Japan is the only country left that isn't infected by organism things. And we've got giant robots, and they're doing some pretty cool action and fighting these guys. And I'm kind of getting into this. Alright, cool. It turns out our pilots are all students, but that's not too unusual, except for the third grader. I'm not really sure what her deal is. We'll get back to her. And they get some classroom instruction. What's the war like? Well, you gotta jam these giant bombs, psychic bombs, directly into the enemy's face. You start them up with small children, I guess that's what third graders for, and you have exactly 30 minutes to put the bomb off before it blows up. Nothing else. You can't stop the timer. And you have to shoot it right into their body. And apparently exactly 4x is the right way to do that. So you can tell how this war is so awful already. However, there's a lot of plot hooks in here that I'm somewhat interested in. I mean, there's a lot of things here that this could make this show good. So I'm going to track them for you as we go along. Alright, episode 2 I think was horribly wrong. Everything breaks all at once. All the cool stuff gone. And it's everyone's fault in this room. Every single character is shallow and uninteresting. Here's all of the girls with their one defining characteristic for you. That's it. One of them isn't even a real character. I didn't know what she did all show. Here's the guys. Those two and the guys in the bottom, they're not even really people. I mean, they don't do anything. Once these characters get typecast, like the slut here, they just stay that way for the entire show. They never develop or change. Or this guy, the ladies' man, that's pretty much all he does all show too, is go after girls. That's it. And ladies. He is available with some great pickup lines. I just want to put that out there. Let's look at another character. This girl here, she only does one thing. Tell people they have a problem, promise to fix it, and then take all their money away. It's the only thing she ever does, and she only has those 3 faces. That's it. I mean, I guess she has this one other face this one time, but I'm just going to ignore that one. But the real problem with the show, besides all these losers, is these two. The unstable, socially problematic ice queen, and this kid, who is basically the most worthless male protagonist in all of history. So of course we're going to set them up in a romance. The show right here just died a little bit, okay? That's their relationship. Yell, apologize. Yell, apologize. Side plot though, it turns out she's the daughter of this really important group that's building the robots to defend humanity, so that can be interesting, right? Now, you remember that plot where Japan's the only country left? We're already getting really tired of it. It's hard to maintain and difficult to think about. So instead, we just go to this thing where we've been at war for a really long time, and the effects on the populace are kind of doing their thing. It's not really that interesting. Japan turned out pretty much just like it is today, with pachinko parlors and stuff, despite having to develop on their own with no one else on Earth for 50 years. Yeah, okay, guys. Basically, the plot's getting a little less interesting. We have a new plot that I really don't like creeping around there at the top. However, let's go on. Episodes 3 and 4, where we miss a lot of opportunities. Alright. So the two characters end up somehow alone on a train by themselves. What a coincidence. They can talk to each other for a while. But the main focus of the episode is, oh no, some of our allies died a while ago. We gotta think about them. Now, again, this is another thing where I could see the show being interesting. Okay, the effects of warfare on children that are not equipped to deal with it. Possibly interesting. Let's see what they do with it. Chance, squandered, immediately. Instead of thinking about those dead kids, we focused on the energy economy, I guess. We have electric cars, and gas cars are really exciting, so we yell about them a lot. And it's also creeper hour, I guess. Alright. Let's ignore those two and go back to the lore plot. Well, somebody just developed a 2-seater robot. Who are we going to put in the 2-seater robot? Well, we could pick the best character who has the most awesome skills, and the character who is so pathetic that all of his skills are sad. It's no wonder we're losing this war, okay? But somehow they put them both in the same mech. And then it turns out that Ice Queen is so bad at talking to people, she has to get a book on tape to teach her how to talk to other people. This is sad. How does that work out for her? More or less about as well as expected, okay. And as that Japan at war thing, 50 years of war, etc., that got too hard to think about and plan for in the show. So now it really just affects the students who get drafted or whatever. Everywhere else in Japan is happy and everyone's wonderful and there's outdoor cafes and there's just no effects of the war anywhere on anyone. Even though in episode 1 they were like trouncing cities, they just couldn't deal with thinking about how hard it was for that plot. So we're going to merge those two plots, and as you can see, like when I gray stuff out, like the children's warrior thing, that means nothing happened that episode, so we didn't do a whole lot. And the Mai tries to be human thing, that's already over. Never again. Alright, we're going to put on a school play, for some reason. It seems like you guys should probably be trained to be robot pilots, but no, let's do a play. Meanwhile, the love story, not going so hot. They're just yelling at each other a lot. Now also, they get to work together as puppeteers, just the two of them. What a coincidence. Yeah, let's put them together. Alright, it's the enemy. They said they show up right in the middle of our stupid play. Oh no. And you know what? It turns out they really should have been practicing for the play, because one of them gets killed. Great. Alright, so the children is, the children thing is coming back. Oh, one of our guys just got hurt, but the dumb play thing is now in play. Not sure what's going on there. Alright, you know what? Forget that dead girl. Again, anytime we have anything even remotely serious or interesting, we're going to drop it, because now it's exam time, and that's much more important. So we do that for a while, but I can't stress enough how boring these characters are. She's counting her laundry turning, okay? Alright, anyway, back to that war. We're gonna go have some exciting war action and go shoot people, and suddenly comms are down, we're out of ammo, we're trapped behind enemy lines with poison gas all around us in the two-seater mech. No one else, of course. What a coincidence. And so suddenly we're in this like survival show thing. They gotta figure out how to get out of this. So is it gonna be tense? So they're gonna have to watch the hours tick down as they slowly poison? No! Somehow nursery rhymes stop the enemy from attacking you if you recite them. Not even kidding, he just walks through a bunch of guys and they stop killing him for some reason. Alright, now what's the deal here? Apparently, all you need is a gas mask in order to not die from the poison gas. So, and monks did it once or something. And because they hone in on human fear and anger. I don't know how they managed to do that through a suit that blocks all gas, but whatever. Well, you know what, never mind, I'm actually gonna call BS on that, because that girl died from poison gas on her skin. So having a gas mask is not enough. We killed you for no reason, sorry, hon. Anyway, so it turns out they go for fear and hatred, right? And why the infection seems to have started in World War II Germany. That's something that's pretty interesting, because maybe all the bad stuff they did causing this, the show never even touches on this potential plot idea. I'm better than they are. Huh. Anyway, let's get the backstory out of the way. Alright, psychic bombs. What's the deal there? Why do we need third graders? It turns out that the Shimamura people built some kind of thing to make little girls stop growing at the age of 8. And is this ever going to come back or influence the plot in any way at all? I'll give you a hint, no. We just, we need to get rid of some plots and this was our chance. And meanwhile, the two of them escape to some kind of location so they can have time alone to talk about each other. What a coincidence, again. Now, if you're like me, and therefore awesome, you might think to yourself, at least there's still going to be friggin' awesome mecha action in this show, right? Wrong. As of this episode, they were running out of time, so they dumped every plot they could think of, including the mechs. There's pretty much never a substantive mech episode ever again. We also drop anything interesting about the bad guys, or the bombs, or anything. It's all gone. All gone. And now that we've dumped all those plots, we have room for nothing. Nothing friggin' happens. This girl shows up and thinks the main character is a different person. At the end of the episode, she realizes she was wrong. That is the only thing that happens. At least, you learn that the main character knows how to deal with the ladies. Yeah, just throw them. What? We've got a great guy. Alright, so then, yeah, nothing happens. Alright, now it's time for the start of the show. Like the beginning, the very first, like you think I'm kidding, right? But no. Every friggin' person in the entire show gets an introduction. This is like the whole episode is, hey, I'm this guy, this is what I do for a living. Every one of them. Except for the girl who died. She gets screwed again. Too bad. But like literally, they all get introduced again, 9 episodes into a 13-episode show. So the other 10% is our romance plot, which is going about as well as you'd expect. So yeah, pretty much nothing happens again. Alright, what does that even mean? I give up. So what is going on in this retarded filler plot episode? The unlucky girl gets sort of lucky for one day. The cardboard characters are still cardboard. This guy throws up if he tries to talk too much. Like, this is what's known as lazy writing. And the girl who likes money still likes money. She thinks the unlucky girl is going to die, so she's lucky, so she's taping her to sell the family, her family the tape. What a girl. And they put on another class play for some reason, in which, you might have guessed it, these two get to play a romantic role together. What a coincidence!
They die too.
They don't die. But, wait, what? Alright, forget that. Now, we're really starting to run out of time here on the romance plot, so we better hurry that along. I don't know if someone's slipping her drugs, but suddenly she thinks he's sort of manly, which is not the case. So, we finally finished the have and play plot, which is, of course, incredibly important. And the romance plot continues. Now, as you can tell, there's not a lot of time left on my graph, so we better get these two characters together somehow. Oh God, he's so stupid. Now, let's talk about coincidence again while we get taped, and the only two people that get an interview are those two, of course. Alright, so the rest of the class is starting to see these two might want to one day become the couple in the show. So they decide to make it a mission. Hey, you two, go out shopping together, and we'll like pretend to make you get together somehow. It's awful to watch this. Like, they get slipped every possible chance to confess to each other or whatever. I mean, it's not a coincidence anymore. They're all trying to get them to do it. This finally happens. Like, just, it's so dumb. Like, where'd the mecha show go? And you know what? After all of this, he still screws it up. He says something retarded and spends the rest of the week in his bed. So the world plot's over, right? You can't coincidence your way out of this one, right? Wrong! It's time for an entire week where every single person goes on vacation except those two who stay on base alone together for a week. And then the power goes out. So they gotta go find each other and sit together in the dark with their candles. I mean, we are throwing coincidence after coincidence at this thing. Now, before the obvious get-together of these two, I want to have a montage for how much I hate the lead character. All he ever does is say, I'm sorry. If he's talking to someone, he's saying it pathetically. If he's in his robot and he screws up, all he ever does is apologize. At long distance, he'll apologize. Outside, he'll apologize. In the shot up there, he's apologizing to a cat. And the guy is the worst.
So somehow they made a wimpier Shinji.
Yeah, he's pretty much wimpier Shinji. But you know what? He has one guiding principle. He's going to try hard. Look at his pathetic face. He's going to try hard, and that will solve all of his problems. So you know what? Because this is the show, of course it does. They somehow run into each other on a bridge, and they meet each other in the snow, and he somehow figured out he should get a girl a gift, which I'm pretty much going to call BS on. And they get together, of course. So what happened in the end of the show? Every potential thing that could have been interesting died a horrible, miserable death sometime around episode 8. And then all we were left with was the love plot, all right? This is how I was so disappointed in a show that could have been interesting. So remember, this anime is too good to be true. Don't watch it.
Yeah. All right, at any rate, here's the deal. We're gonna have a transfer student come in. A transfer student from the legendary Johto Academy. Johto, could it be? Kyoshiro, the biggest jerk of your life. And what does our main character think this is? A miracle. A miracle of love. Yes, great. Now I already hate this guy. Like, instead of learning, because nobody learns crap, he stands around playing his violin in the field to attract all the girls. Yeah, great. I hate you. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness, he spotted her in the crowd. Guys, a miracle of love? Just kidding, great. Yay! And then he's like, man, you should really come with me. And I'm like, that's it for the remainder of this presentation and my life, your jerk face. Like, we're done with your face. And she's like, good thing she runs, because I was about to have it out. And she's like, oh my gosh, that was terrible. Like, wait, why does he talk to me like the weird prince in my head who I made up? And I'm like, who cares? How did the word wonderful even get in that sentence? Wait, what? Like, we have no time to think about that because the maid has shown up. You know who else has shown up? My least favorite thing in the universe, cat girls.
Of course!
You know what I hate more than cat girls? Cat girls who can summon robots. Cat girls who can summon robots who talk about a whole lot of nothing. I don't even understand what that means. Cat girls who can summon robots who talk about a whole lot of nothing, who try and rape you twice in one episode. We're doing real good here, team. Okay, thankfully the maid's got a robot too, so she's gonna save our main character, so I don't even know. Guys, alright, here's the important part of my presentation. Listen to how this works. Anytime I watch a really bad show, I have a mental escape chart. Like, there's gotta be a way out of this jazz. There I am in the center, and here's how this works. The blue arrows represent characters. Sometimes I'll find a character I can at least sort of get into, and I'll run with that. The double arrow symbolizes first and last impression. The same thing goes for plot, which is the peach arrow. Sometimes I can sort of follow a plot point. Maybe. If everything fails, everything, those black arrows, lifeboat. My morality and integrity come through, and I know I'm just watching this crappy show for you people. I've never watched a show that's made me feel wrong. So we can get out of this. Don't worry. Let's see how we're doing. Cat girl, hell to the no. Like, no. Done. Main character, what are you doing? Falling up a cliff? Fantastic, because that means it's time for some Mortal Kombat! Alright, let's give a round of applause for Cat Girl! Yes! Versus the maid! Even more, yes! Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Damn it! Dude, that was messed up! Even the Cat Girl's surprised! You ruined our moment! Alright, now here's the thing. We're gonna get our first look at the relationship between Setsuna the maid and Jerkface. And it's gonna go a little something like this. The abuse train has just rolled into town. Watch how this works. Okay, so now it's time to introduce plot, and here's how we introduce plot. With naked people. So she's like gonna get naked in the bath, and she's like, guess what? Setsuna's like, guess what? I'm an absolute angel, you see. I kiss people, because that's how I get mana, and it's kind of like eating or fueling a car. That's like so deep. Like, thankfully, this chick shows up to kidnap the main character. And I was like, woo, thank goodness. Now, Setsuna tries to defend her in the most dysfunctional battle armor ever. That works out about as well as you'd expect, and we're at the moonshine. Now, this makes a whole lot of sense. You know what else doesn't make sense? When you kidnap somebody, it's usually to, I don't know, like threaten them or something. And no, they're like Biffles from stage 1. She's like, man, I'm sorry I kidnapped you in your underwear, let's be friends. Because I have to tell you some plot. What does that mean, naked people? So what does that main character do while she's kidnapped? She's like, man, stop my imaginary prince in my head. The person who kidnapped me is like the bomb. Like, she's so cool, she's pretty much the queen. I love it. Like, being kidnapped is the best. And it's like, alright, great, now we've got more absolute angels, because that's just what this show needs, right? Alright guys, so what have you learned about absolute angels? Okay, ready? They have giant arms and legs, and they're not people, and they kiss instead of eating. Your grade is made of failure! about to do, Guy X? Why are you creepily watching? I didn't need to see that! Alright, that hurt real bad. Back to that plot I was telling you guys about. Now, one fine day, the military decided that having tanks wasn't good enough. Now, before you think about that, think about where they got that projector. Where did that come from exactly? I don't even know. Anyway, the point is that they made these steel people who were absolute angels. They can regenerate all the time. That's absolute regeneration. Keep track, keep track. They can blow stuff up. Absolute destruction. Keeping track, they can break physics. Absolute transference. You can bet none of this ever comes up like ever again. By the way, these two are lesbians. Just for the record. This is important. I really could care less because I want some Mortal Kombat! Like, let's do it. This time for reals. For reals, these guys. Like, it's left hand, absolute angel, whatever that means, versus right hand, absolute angel, the maid's back to, like, save our main character. Like, we're getting a for realsies fight this time. Let's freaking go! Who's gonna win? Son of a... No, you didn't just ruin my moment twice. And she's like, man, he must be here to save me. He tried to rape you in episode 1. Why would you ever think that? How's my chart doing? No, like maybe Calron because, I don't know, maybe? Sure, great. So man, here we go. Jerkface's mission is to like murder all the absolute angels, it turns out. Like Setsuna's sitting right there. Has anyone noticed that? By the way, I know you guys got really confused by that plot. So the absolute angel's power is absolute. I just want to remind you. Just in case you were lost. Okay, how's my abuse train doing? Murder while she's sitting right there. That's abusive. Damn guys, we haven't had plot in a while. Naked people.
At least it's male this time.
You guys are probably like, oh yeah, Sue, you just cut the naked shots and you put them at the right place so that it looks like plot only happens when naked people happen. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. That's a 3-way shower shot. I can't make that stuff up, okay? Now, around this time, we get some backstory about Jerkface and how he was like, man, I was caught in an explosion, I have a brother complex, and I was trapped in a who cares? Moving on. Alright, Legitsy's plot, right? So one time, destruction was happening. The earth and the sky exploded, yes? Eternal mana came. From 4 meteors, I don't even know what this even means. Like, what's happening? Great, words are being made up now. Oh, it's helpful. The absolute angel's power is super powerful. And then Megan Yord happened. Whatever the hell that means. Anyway, that was supposed to be all the absolute angels, don't you know? All 4 of them or something. What? Oh no, the main character's an absolute angel. Great. Are you guys done? 3-way shower shut off. I guess you're done. Okay, now, I hope you guys are as confused as I am because somebody lost the plot. Like, the absolute angels have shown up 3 times. The main character described them, Team Naked described them, and the lesbian shrine maidens described them. How are we gonna know which plot to go with? Logic, my friends, logic. The main character's an idiot. I hate everyone on Team Naked. We're going with the shrine maidens plot, baby, so that's what we'll stick with for now. Sure, great, I'll ride that. Man, it's time for more abuse. Oh, look at her. She cooks all day for Jerkface. In fact, she's like, hey, Jerkface, aren't you excited? I cook for you all day. In fact, I do everything for you. Like serve you tea. Like stitch your clothing. Like be your sword forever. Anything you want. Like she's crying in that shot. And I'm like, oh, and he's like, guess what? I gotta leave to the legendary Johto Academy. Not gonna eat any of your food. And I'm like, you jackass? Like, what the hell? The abuse train is still rolling. Still rolling, baby. Alright, so here's the deal. We gotta go catch Cat Girl, because that's like an important plot point or something. So here's Jerkface's master plan, right? We're gonna use the maid as bait. We're gonna leave with the main character. We're gonna leave the maid there and call upon the maid if necessary. And I'm like, jackass! The abuse train, it just keeps going, baby! Alright, now, Ku, what do you think of this jerk? After all of this, you've gotten to see it all. He fearlessly fights for the state. He's pure and noble. He's ideal. I'm gonna gag. He's brave and just stop. He's a prince with. Are you? That's even the dumbest main character ice and just like beats her the whole show. Like that's it, that's her purpose. And why is this? So that she can turn her into a mindless lesbian love slave. Like that's her whole purpose, that's it. And I'm like, wow, we're doing great. We're doing flipping great, we're doing flipping great. I almost want to know what Cat Girl's up to right now. No, and you best not make her cake by the poolside, son. Alright, yeah, we're just gonna let that roll. But whatever, it turns out that whole thing where we like exited and left the maid, that was a terrible idea. Because like they fall off a cliff and they're like, it's time for more plot. Oh yeah, okay, the 7 days of hot snow, whatever that means. Great, research is going on the Absolute Angels, again starring this guy who's a knockoff from Yu-Gi-Oh! It turns out he's like the grandfather, along with the brother, everything exploded. So now none of the plot makes sense. The Absolute Angels have shown up like 6 different times. I don't even know what the hell is going on anymore. Oh, Jerkface, you're here! And it turns out that you're Jerkface's brother. Guy X is Jerkface's brother. Aw, and he's like, the Absolute Angels are kind of sad, don't you think? And he's like, so, don't you care a little bit about the Absolute Angels? You know what Jerkface is trying to do, right? He's like trying to murder all of them, and Jerkface is like, hell yeah, I am! I'm trying to murder them all! Murder them all! All of them! And she's like, oh no, my sepia tones will stop you! And he's like, whatever. So now poor Setsuna runs in, like, in the midst of all this, and she's like trying to defend them. And what does he do? He verbally abuses her. He's like, shield us, bitch. Do it now, because you pretty much have to crush the enemy. Like a sword. Like a sword! Do it! I'm a jackass! Like, this is going great. This train is rolling fast. Oh no. Now after all that, like, she's seen him say he's gonna murder all the angels, and what are we doing? We're on a shopping trip to bake cake. To bake him pure white cake that reminds him of his glorious brother complex. I'm gonna be sick, like a whole lot of sick. Thankfully, she gets kidnapped again. But she's like, don't worry, last time I was kidnapped, it was fine, we had a projector party. I learned some plot, it was rockin'. And he's like, Jerkface is like, oh no, the maid is like super powered now after being abused forever. We need some freaking tactics. What tactics are we gonna use? Team up with Cat Girl. Like, that's our tactics? For real? I don't even understand. Alright, anyway, back to Lady Miko, who it turns out is Jerkface's sister. Right, because that makes sense. And she's like, sup, I'm here to tell you some plot. Oh no, Koo, you're an absolute angel! We figured that out like 50 slides ago! Didn't Team Naked reveal that to us like forever and a day ago? Whatever, that was plot, guys. Naked people, naked people, naked people! Alright, great. Now about this time I came to realize that everyone who is like stupid is related. They're all brother and sister. That's what I call stupid genetics! How are we doing with that plot? Not so hot. I don't think I'm gonna make it out with plot. This is super bad. So here's how it's going down, guys. Koo's been kidnapped for realsies this time, a second time, because we're gonna merge the angels, because you can do that. Or something. Alright, so let's merge the angels. I don't even give a crap. Just fight already. Like, just do it. Like, that's what you're here for. Just do it. Did you just hat trick ruining my life? Yes, you did. Alright, now here's the deal. Poor Setsun is like, I just jumped in as bait along with Cat Girl. I'm dying here. Like, do the whole mana giving thing, please. And he's like, stop talking. Stop talking, because Koo's crying, and she's like, I don't want to be an absolute angel. That's like the worst thing ever. And Setsun is standing right there. And I'm like, Koo, sup, bitch? Join the train. Freaking jump on. And Jerkface, you're driving the damn thing, so we knew it. We knew this was coming. All right, let's keep going. Like, the show never even tries to be different. This is happening. Like, Lady Mika is still abusing the crap out of Cowan, and she's like bored with her role now. She's like, is this all I do? The whole damn show? Alright, now here's the spiel. Koo's like, man, I gotta be a sword like Setsuna. Like, I gotta freaking summon a sword. So she stands in a field with a tin can and swings around wildly for like 2 minutes doing this. like, I can't do it. I'm just useless. So what does she do? She walks into Jerkface's room. She strips off all of her clothing and goes, I think you should rape me now, because that's all I'm good for.
That's great.
I think you should rape me now. And he goes, I'm gonna abuse you. And I just lost everything. Guys, I watched this and then I go back and clip it for you people. I feel so wrong. Oh my gosh. And then he's like, you know what? I had to change your part. I can't live without you. I'm just absolutely in love with you. And I'm like, are you flipping kidding me? And he's like, man, but now that I love you, I can't, like with the maid, I can't like still be making out with the maid to give her mana and stuff. Like, that'd be not cool, right? Because, I've been really mean to her. I know! I've been keeping track! I know! Now, naturally, she's standing right there. So she's, like, totally destroyed. And I'm like, jackass! Like, the abuse train is just building endlessly. And I'm like, that's it. Everyone's been awful forever. Listen, brother who falls from the sky for no apparent reason. You are my last saving character. Please, for the love of God, don't be a jerk who's got Megan Yord, who punches his brother in the stomach, who leaves his sister to die, who punches his other brother in the face, and kidnaps all the Absolute Angels and brings them to a castle on top of academia that I didn't know existed, to put them in wedding dresses to satisfy your own fetish and merge them all into a giant robot! Effectively making you the worst character! Just because you're associated with him. God damn, guys, that was a lot of plot. Everybody get naked! What the hell? Alright, so you guys want to know what happens at the end, right? Because you just do. Like, the Mobile Morality Brigade shows up starring nobody from those introductory slides I showed you. Guy X teams up with lesbian number 1. They fight off an army of steel girls or something in the castle. Jerkface shows, I don't even care. The robot happens. They form the Megazord. And who could power the Megazord but Megan Yord? Bam! And then everyone's great forever because love saves the day or something. Jerkface gets the main character. Catgirl gets Guy X. The lesbians get each other. And Setsuna gets no. At this point, I was like, just stop! We are done here. This is illegal. This much abuse is illegal. Now you guys would be like, so you must have been really happy when she like exploded into pink feathers because she was attached to the Megazord. I'm not that dumb, guys. Okay? I knew they were gonna break me and reincarnate her 10 minutes later for no reason. I knew. So let's review how we did. No. I do it for you people! It's real bad. We're in trouble. Oh my God. So around this time, I'm like, how do you make a show that's this bad, that could destroy my chart? And then I get to staring at the characters and I'm like, wait a minute, aren't you from... Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! No! No one of the enemies had the advantage of me the whole time! Guys, I think it's time for the con artist emergency. I think we might. Have we ever had to use the con artist emergency? Guys, I guess we do. Guys, it's time for the con artist emergency. It solves everything. What do I do? Con artist emergency button. Yes. Listen, guys, I got pride, but I ain't got no pride after this show. Go team! This one. So now you know when you see these shows, one such Kamichi. So if we can get a round of applause for why stare judgmental. Alright, well, thanks a lot for being here, guys. We appreciate your suggestions.
All right, we're actually going to start immediately on a panel of our